Today we discussed about autotrophic nutrition. Chapter 6. First, the definition of nutrition. Definition of nutrition. What is nutrition? Energy is required for all life activities. ATP is the source of energy. We already discussed about ATP. That means through cellular respiration. Mesosome in bacteria and mitochondria in multicellular organisms, where the cellular respiration take place and release ATP as energy source. Green plants and cyanobacteria carry photosynthesis. Energy is required for all life activities. ATP is the source of energy. Through cellular respiration. We already discussed about definition of nutrition in our first class. This is our second class. Cellular respiration take place through mesosome in bacteria and mitochondria in multicellular organism. Green plants and cyanobacteria carry photosynthesis. Unicellular cyanobacteria and all green plants carry photosynthesis. They use materials like carbon dioxide and water to form different types of organic materials like glucose, carbohydrate, etc. They are known as autotrophs. Green plants and cyanobacteria, unicellular cyanobacteria carry photosynthesis. They use materials like carbon dioxide and water. They use materials like carbon dioxide and water to form different types of organic matters. Materials like organic materials like materials with carbon, like glucose. The end product of photosynthesis is carbohydrate and glucose. Glucose, carbohydrate, etc. Green plants and cyanobacteria are known as autotrophs. They are autotrophs. Photosynthesis is an example of anabolism. That is the production. In case of heterotrophs, what is heterotrophs? Heterotrophs directly or indirectly depend upon autotrophs for their food requirements. Next, heterotrophs. Heterotrophs directly, the organisms directly or indirectly depend upon autotrophs for their food requirement. Autotrophs for their food requirement. By the help of biocatalysts. Example, enzymes, different types of enzymes. Heterotroph's body split huge biomolecules like carbohydrate, protein, fat to simpler molecular forms like glucose, amino acids, fatty acid and glycerol. The heterotrophs use by the help of biocatalysts or enzymes heterotrophs by the help of biocatalysts, that is also known as enzymes, their body split, heterotrophs body split huge biomolecules like glucose, amino acids, their body split huge biomolecules like carbohydrate, protein and fat to glucose, amino acids, fatty acids and glycerol. What is catalyst? Catalysts are the chemicals that control the speed of bioactivities or different chemical activities known as catalysts. In case of Animals, biocatalysts are different types of enzymes. By the help of biocatalysts or different types of enzymes, the body of heterotrophs split huge biomolecules like carbohydrate, protein, fat, etc. to simple molecular forms like glucose, amino acids, fatty acid and glycerol. The glucose is the end product of digestion of carbohydrate, and different types of amino acids are the end products of the digestion of protein, and fatty acid and glycerol are the end product of digestion of fat by the help of different types of enzymes. And the body of heterotrophs use these simpler forms of biomolecules for their body function and survival. Next, heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition. In case of heterotrophic nutrition, organisms directly or indirectly depend upon autotrophs for their food requirement. Example, animals and fungi. Animals and fungi directly or indirectly depend upon autotrophs for their food requirement. So, fungi and animals are examples of heterotrophic organisms. Next, autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophs like photosynthetic pigmented plants. There are different types of photosynthetic pigments. Autotrophs like photosynthetic pigmented plants, some bacteria and cyanobacteria include autotrophs. Utilize carbon dioxide and water in presence of sunlight. They produce carbohydrate known as autotrophs. Photosynthetic pigmented plants. Some autotrophic bacteria example, sulfur bacteria, nitrogen bacteria, etc. are autotrophic bacteria. They produce their own food. And cyanobacteria are examples of autotrophic organisms. They utilize autotrophic organisms utilize carbon dioxide and water, and in presence of sunlight they produce carbohydrate known as autotrophs. Carbohydrate is a polysaccharide made up of monosaccharide like glucose. Carbohydrate is a polysaccharide made up of monosaccharide like glucose. In plants, carbohydrates store in the form of starch. In plants, carbohydrates, excess carbohydrates stored in the form of starch. They serve as the internal energy reserve to be used when required by the plants. In case of plants, excess carbohydrate, that is end product of photosynthesis, stored in the form of starch. They serve as the internal energy reserve food to be used when required by the plants. Carbohydrates stored in the form of starch. They serve as the starch is serve as the internal energy reserve. Internal energy reserve, that is the food reserve, to be used when required by the plants. When required by the plants. But in case of animals, carbohydrates store in the form of glycogen in liver. In case of animals, excess carbohydrates stored in the form of glycogen. Carbohydrate stored in the form of glycogen, usually in liver, stored in liver. If the body need glucose, if the body demand nutrition, that is glucose, this stored glycogen is converted to glucose. This stored glycogen converted to glucose and released into blood. Here, two hormones are responsible for this activity. Here, two hormones responsible for this activity. Activities, that is insulin and glucagon. Insulin helps to store or convert excess glucose to glycogen and stored in liver. In case of the body need glucose, excess glucose, the another hormone glucagon convert stored glycogen to glucose. Next, formula of photosynthesis. Six carbon dioxide plus 12 water molecules convert to glucose C6H12O6, that is glucose, plus 6 oxygen molecule plus 6 water molecule are the byproduct of photosynthesis. Here this activity take place in presence of sunlight, and photosynthesis occur inside the cell organelle chlorophyll. Next topic, events occur during photosynthesis. Events occur during photosynthesis. First step, absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. We already discussed about chlorophyll and chloroplast. Chlorophyll is the green pigment seen in the cell organelle chloroplast. Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Okay. Second step, conversion of light energy to chemical energy. Conversion of light energy to chemical energy and splitting of water molecule to hydrogen and oxygen, and in second stage, and splitting of water molecule to hydrogen H2 and oxygen molecule. In third step, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. Reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. Here three main points. Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, the green pigment that is situated in the cell organelle chloroplast. Next, conversion of light energy to chemical energy and splitting of water molecule to hydrogen and oxygen. In third step, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. But in case of desert plants, here some difference we can see. In case of desert plants, example cactus. Here some difference can seen. The desert plants with large root system and the leaves are reduced to thorns, tough cuticle covering also seen. In desert plant, some difference seen in that compared to other plants. Some differences seen compared to other plants. That is, in desert plants, the intermediate product formed after absorbing carbon dioxide at night. That is, desert plants, one of the intermediate product, one of the intermediate product formed after absorbing carbon dioxide at night. That is malic acid. Malic acid. Malic acid is the intermediate product that not seen in other cases. The carbon dioxide is absorbed at night in case of desert plants. One of the intermediate product, malic acid, is formed. This is the part of crassulacean acid metabolism. This product formation is the part of crassulacean acid metabolism. Part of crassulacean acid metabolism. That is CAM pathway. In case of desert plants, stomata open at night to absorb carbon dioxide. In case of desert plants, stomata, that is the pores seen on the surface of leaves, stomata open at night to absorb carbon dioxide. The stomata are rudimentary in size because it protects the plant from evaporation of water, excess water through stomata. So here we can see sunken stomata. During daytime, malic acid broken down release carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. During daytime, malic acid broken down and release CO2, carbon dioxide, for photosynthesis. Here we can see some difference in the desert plants and other plants. Next, cross section of leaf. CS, cross section of leaf. Here we draw dicot leaf. This is the upper epidermis. With waxy cuticle. This is lower epidermis. In case of dicot plants, the stomata seen on the lower epidermis only. This is the guard cell. Guard cells. There are two guard cells for each stomata. Stomata is the opening of in between the guard cells. Stomata are the pores where the gaseous exchange and transmission of water take place. Transmission is the evaporation of excess water through stomata, and also gaseous exchange take place through stomata. These are the air space. This is this palisade tissue. Palisade tissue. This is the spongy tissue. This is the CS of dicot leaf. Next, structure of dicot stomata. Here we can see lot of chlorophyll pigment that is located in the chloroplast. Structure of dicot stomata. These are the subsidiary cells that surround the guard cell. There are two bean-shaped guard cells. That is a peculiarity of dicot stomata. Bean-shaped guard cells. Guard cells with chloroplastus. This is the thick inner wall of stomata. This is the stomatal pore. There is some difference between dicot stomata and monocot stomata. This is the dicot stomata. This is the dumbbell shaped guard cell in case of monocot plant. Gaseous exchange take place in leaves through stomatal pore for the purpose of photosynthesis. Water also lost through the stomata, that is also known as transpiration. Transpiration is the evaporation of water, excess water through stomata. Plants closes these pores when it does not need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Plants closed these pores when it does not need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Guard cells control the opening and closing of stomatal pore. Guard cells swell. The guard cells swell when water flow into them. The guard cells swells when water flows into them. Then this water is filled in this guard cell and becomes swells and the pore is open. Similarly, pores are closed if the guard cell shrink. Plants closes these pores when it does not need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Guard cells control the opening and closing of stomatal pore. Guard cells swells when water flow into the guard cell. Then the pores are open. Similarly, pores are closed. Shrinks. Close. These pores are closed if the guard cells shrink. Reduction of water. Next, other materials needs for building plant body. Other materials need for building plant body. First, water absorbed through roots. Another materials, nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, magnesium are taken up from soil, are taken up from soil. Nitrogen essential for photosynthesis of protein. Nitrogen essential for synthesis of protein and other compounds. This is taken up in form of nitrate and nitrates. Nitrogen is taken up in the form of nitrates and nitrates. N2 nitrogen is taken up in form of nitrates and nitrites. Free nitrogen can't absorbed by the plants. So nitrogen is taken up in form of nitrates and nitrates, or it is taken up as organic compounds also, or nitrogen is taken up as organic compounds, which have been prepared by bacteria from atmospheric nitrogen, which have been prepared by bacteria from atmospheric nitrogen. Such a bacteria known as nitrogen fixing bacteria. Such a bacteria known as nitrogen fixing bacteria. Nitrogen fixing bacteria. Example: Rhizobium acetobacter. Rhizobium acetobacter. Cyanobacteria, that is also known as blue-green algae, also helps for this process. Cyanobacteria, that is blue-green algae, also helps for this process, that is nitrogen fixation. Now complete this part. If you like this session, please like, share and subscribe.